Shetlin with you today, and what I'd like to do today is move towards summing up our first season or first set of these interviews. We've got some other great ones still lined up. Dr. Christina Stitcher coming up in just a little bit, where she is a physician, pediatric specialist, and she's going to go into some interesting things and talk about how her own personal fight with cancer and using the Greek method, which is pretty incredible. For summary, I'd like to look at what we've covered so far, some important things to help us fight cancer naturally so we can try to help prevent it, because really the cure for most things that humans suffer from is in the prevention. But when we do have problems pop up, whether it's viruses, bacteria, fungus, mold, and even cancer, there are things we can do naturally. We've been doing things naturally for thousands of years. In the last 100 years, it's barely over 100 years, we've come up with this philosophy that we need a pill or a potion because we want instant gratification. And that's what the nice thing with pharmacology is, it has a faster result or effect, but then there's always side effects. When we titrate things down and make them so potent that it swings the pendulum to the extremes of both ends, where the natural means seem to be a little more tolerable, but they just take longer. But interestingly enough, Dr. Marie, in our first episode, she was really focusing on the virus stuff as Corona is such a big thing right now, and we were still new at learning what was going on with it and how easy it was to spread. But she went into how to help boost our immune system naturally. Now, this is a really common thread through the whole course of this, even fighting cancer, because our immune system is fighting cancer daily for you and I. We're each growing, according to Guyton's medical textbook, 10,000 cancer cells a day. And when our body doesn't recognize those foreign cells as non-self and take care of them, that's when it grows. It's cruising under the radar of our own immune system. And that becomes a problem. Most cancers grow slowly and become a problem later. So we want to try to catch things early or do things proactively to prevent it. And when we get it, there are a number of things we can do. Now, this series is our own journey dealing with colon cancer with my wife, Shannon. Each cancer is different. Different people have different lifestyle things, but Dr. Marie talks about lifestyle and nutritional things to help boost your immune system naturally, including to fight viruses. That also helps with cancer. Episode 2, I talked about why we're doing this journey. I hope you take some time to watch that. It's pretty short. I try to keep all these pretty short. In episode 3, we talked to Gaston, who helps run and be the liaison for the Immunity Therapy Center in Tijuana, Mexico. There are 22 natural cancer fighting centers in Tijuana, Mexico. They're all over the world, Cancun, Switzerland, Germany. I mean, there's a lot of them. It's just hard to find them in the US. And one of the interviews I've been wanting to do but have not been able to set up yet, hopefully I can do in the second season, is, and I hope I don't disappear or have problems from what I'm trying to share and just be sincere with what's out there. But 63 chiropractic physicians and naturopathic physicians had disappeared in 18 short months, mysteriously or found dead on the side of their running trail where they go jogging every morning, for helping people fight cancer naturally, not using the gold standard means. That's scary. That means there's some big business behind some of the things that we're dealing with, talking about some of the systems to fight cancer, especially in the US, that rather than looking at it as a human life and trying to help that human being fight or beat cancer, it really comes down to dollars and cents and shares and stockholders and almost like a mafia situation. That's a little scary. I don't want to dive too deep into that, but I don't want to talk too much about that in this episode. The next episode, I'm going to talk about the cost of disease care and why it still costs so much to fight these horrible diseases that you'd think we'd have beat by this time, with humans being as smart as they are. We still haven't got everything figured out. Or big business is driving and keeping us from finding a cure. With episode 3, Gaston talks about and introduces you, and he's the liaison to help people that want to look at something natural, getting a sense and a feel if that's the right fit for them, and introducing them to that clinic. Now, there's lots of clinics. That's just the clinic that we had a good experience with. And Dr. Altman in episode 4, fantastic functional medicine physician, chiropractic physician. Functional medicine is using nutrition and supplements and lifestyle change to help beat the unbeatable thyroid problems, diabetes, cancer. And he's had great experiences in his life helping people that are fighting cancer to have a better quality of life and live longer using natural means. And he talked deeply about lifestyle, and even both he and one of the patients that I interviewed talked about how important it is to let go of, to be able to deal with your stress, because stress affects your immune system. Letting go of anger or contention and those kind of things. That stuff is so important. And I think, honestly, as we have these battles, my wife is a sweetheart, but yeah, I think she's carrying some stress and resentment towards others that may be affecting her immune system. We've had a rough couple of years, and I haven't shared this with everybody. We've had strange situations with people vandalizing and shooting out her truck windows, which she's a sweetheart. They're probably mad at me. They're a patient that got a bill and just was mad at us and lashed out in an inappropriate manner, or maybe a neighbor that, I don't know, there's still some investigation going on with the police on that one. So that's weird stuff we've had in this last couple of years. And then the cancer and just frivolous lawsuits from people that we love and care about and have helped over the years that for some reason they've turned on. It's just weird stuff that we've been dealing with the last couple of years that, of course, are stressors. And then they can lead to resentment or lack of love. And I think having love and forgiveness and gratitude are just huge part of overcoming these and not carrying around those things that can affect our immune system and affect our health. Dr. Hatch did a fantastic job in Portugal talking about the power of a healthy nervous system and getting adjusted regularly. And he does stuff where it's on site, and it helps save businesses money because people are more productive and missing less sick days by being adjusted. And then we talked about how the adjustments directly affect the immune system. Chiropractic is a powerful, often understood, undervalued by our society and sometimes our medical model, because it's natural and it's so simple. I mean, freeing up your nervous system so your brain, which houses the blueprints to communicate with your entire body, so that your organs, glands, muscles, hormones are balanced, your immune system functioning better. All these things from a simple adjustment are so powerful at helping our health and our longevity. And he did a fantastic job. I recommend episode 5, both parts there. I interviewed Shannon a few times through the course of this experience. She was really in a lot of pain. It would be considered stage 4 as it's gone through her lymph. We thought we had it beat. We were negligent for a year, not really watching because we thought we beat it. Had great results at the Immune Therapy Center in Mexico, and then having the surgery and then going back to Immune Therapy Center. So we did natural surgery, natural instead of chemo, radiation, surgery, chemo, radiation, with great results. But sometimes it bounces back. That's why you're not out of the woods for 5 years. And sometimes when we go in and we cut something out, we break up more cells floating around in the bloodstream or the lymph system that can cause a problem later somewhere else. And Dr. Stitcher talks about that in the next season. So it came back, and she was really struggling. She was in pain. It would metastasize and was eating a part of her rib. So eating bone that hurts so bad. And I lost my father to prostate cancer. And I remember at the end, he just lost so much weight and was miserable. And it just metastasized to his spine. And it just hurt everywhere. In the time that she was down there, in the 6 weeks I interviewed her, where she was in pain when we started, by the 2nd week, she was pain-free. By the 4th week, she was feeling amazing. By the 6th week, awesome. She was ready to go back to work and stuff. But pain is not a barometer of our health. And as we unfortunately discovered when we came back, and finally got the new PET scan a couple weeks ago to compare before and after, the treatments down there had shrunk it in certain areas. It had gone completely away in the bone, gone. But still, it's spreading in other areas. So our journey is not over. As we get into season 2, I mean, we're playing cancer whack-a-mole, where we tackle it one place and it's popping up somewhere else. And again, everybody's experience is going to be different. As we interviewed John in episode 9, I believe, he's had some great results. ITC down in Mexico has a 70% plus success rate. And most of the people who go to see them are in stage 4, and they're doing natural means and then targeted chemotherapy, what we call clean chemo. And then they also do regular chemo if it's necessary. In episode 7, I interviewed Dr. Batista, who runs the clinic in Mexico. I want to get more interviews with other doctors in their perspective. But it's a beautiful interview, and he's really doing, I think, the right things for the right reasons, and having some great success, but not for everybody. I've even seen him down there where people are going in, getting their natural therapy and maybe some targeted chemo, and they're coming out and smoking cigarettes on their break and stuff, and he just sends them home and just, look, just go home and die. I can't help you. You're not going to change your lifestyle. It's not worth it. So lifestyle change is a very, very important part if we do have unhealthy habits. Episode 9, the interview with John, is amazing. Worth every minute to watch that. What a wonderful soul that person is, he and his wife, and what a journey they've had. And to see the successes they've had is phenomenal. And they're just one of many. Interview number 10 with Dr. Mark Snow. He's an author of a fictitious book talking about, which we'll talk about a little more in this next episode on the cost of disease care. But he goes into fictitiously this quasi-future, almost now, but quasi-future, where we are enslaved, not by slavery in the older sense of the word, but enslaved by negligence and poor understanding, where we buy into a system that keeps us sick, and keeps us buying more sick care instead of health care. And it just perpetuates over the course of our lifetime into our kids. It's a fascinating short story, fictitious book that really hits home on a lot of true things going on in the world, and definitely worth a read, called Sick World by Mark Snow. And so I interviewed number 11, I interviewed Shannon, where she was doing really well. Today is a tough day. Today is the day we're gonna go start the intensive chemo here in the States. Because it's still spreading and doing the whack-a-mole thing, even the doctors in Mexico are saying, look, if you come back down here, you're gonna do all the natural stuff that boosts your immune system like we normally do. You're gonna be taking full dose chemo every 2 weeks, or 2 days every 2 weeks. And you won't, they're telling her she wouldn't respond as negatively as a lot of people do with chemo because their immune system. But for time and cost, we're gonna do it here in the States. It's the same chemo, but without all the other natural and immune system support, which is a bummer. But for the time and cost right now, that's the plan that we're gonna do. And we've sent off her blood work to Greece, which you'll learn more about that in episode 14 with Dr. Christina Stitcher. The Greek method, where they look for all kinds of markers and test the genetic markers of the cancer versus your own cells, so they can actually create for lack of a better word, a vaccine, a personalized vaccine against your own type of cancer. Pretty powerful. What a brilliant idea. So that's worth looking into. So that's a summary of where we're at so far. Our journey is not over. I'm hoping that these things, as we do this, help others who are trying to prevent cancer or are struggling with cancer, that they see that there are other options out there. Cancer is not a death sentence like we often think. There are systems out there, natural things out there, and there's chemo. There's a right time for chemo. There's a time for more natural stuff. But it's a personal journey, and definitely our headspace is important. Reading the right books, positive books, rebooting our thinking, our lifestyle, our nutrition and support, avoiding the toxins, and getting the right medical guidance is key. And I think having a lot of love, patience, forgiveness, and understanding, that's a big journey. Those are four, sounds like simple words, but they're very deep, and they're a personal journey that require a lot of personal study and personal implementation to really make the magic happen with those. All right, well, thanks for joining us on this journey. And our next episode is going to be a deep dive in the cost of healthcare versus disease care. And it's not going to be pretty. And then we've got another season for you that's going to be pretty mind-boggling. Thanks for joining me.